On today's episode of the Views from Section 400 podcast, Auburn has a new head coach. Finally, we are free from Hugh Freeze. Hopefully, Cam Coleman stays. Let's keep everybody. No transfers, please. Talk about that. Talk about all the other coaches that signed deals in college football. New college football playoff rankings. The ACC may be without a team. JMU has a chance to get in, and we are hoping for it. Also, our NFL Week 13 picks and Michael of the Week featuring some Spotify Wrapped talk. Jack got called a serial killer at work. More on that soon. Stay tuned. See you guys.
And just like that, we're back.
A16, turn me up.
Welcome into episode 227 of the Views from Section 400 podcast. Today is December 4th, 2025. And Jack, athletic director John Cohen, he accomplished his task. He knocked it into the back of the net. Scored big time. The Auburn Tigers have a new head coach.
Yeah, I'm excited. Look, as soon as we made the hire, I was a little disappointed, I won't lie, because my front runner, the guy I wanted, was Summerall, and he's going to Florida. We'll see him. Looking forward to it. I like this Goelsh guy, though. After what I've seen the first few days of him on campus, he says the right things in that regard. He shows up. He looks like he looks the part. He says the right things. By all means, I'm getting flashbacks of Liam Cohen. I really am. And I'm excited for where this franchise, well, I say franchise, where this program, where this school can go with his direction. And speaking of Liam Cohen, this guy kind of looks like Sean McVay. He kind of looks like a Russian redhead. I know Sean McVay has some red hair in him, but more redheaded. And I'm fired up. I'm as fired up as his hair.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be. Moved to the U.S. in 1992 with $400 in his pocket. His family did. So, he's a grinder. He hates golfing. He doesn't have any hobbies. Hates golf. Really wants you to know he hates golf, which whenever a coach takes a shot at Hugh Freeze, which now the basketball coach and our new football coach have, he's going to get on your good side right away. After like 5 minutes of really looking into this guy, because, I know USF has been not a great program, but he's turned them from nothing into something these last couple of years. But the big thing for me, in 2022, when he was the OC for Tennessee, they led the nation in points. He made Jalen Hyatt win the Blitnikoff Award. The award that every receiver wins, and then they're great in the NFL, and Jalen Hyatt's been a piece of shit in the NFL. So that alone sold me on this guy.
Yeah, I saw a stat the other day that Jameis Winston now has more career receiving touchdowns with the Giants than Jalen Hyatt, who has been there for 3 years now.
3 or 4, 23, 24, 25. 3 years. Been a long 3 years with him.
Yeah, not a great pick. Was that a Joe Schmo pick?
Yeah, that was the first Joe Schmo class, I believe.
Was he a first-round pick?
Third. Early third, late second. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 70-something.
I just remember people being excited about him, and winning the Blitnikoff is why. But, yeah, he's had a tough career. Look, I'm excited for Goelsh. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like I poured it out. I got a lot of faith in the direction of this program. Obviously, winning is the love language here. I'll fall in love with him if he can put some W's on the board. If not really looking to a 6 or 7 year buyout, whatever that's going to cost us, whatever he signed. But I do have faith. I don't want to be talking negatively.
Yeah, it feels like he's going to be, at least offensively wise, what Hugh Freeze promised to be for this Auburn program, where we're going to see Auburn put up points again. And I think we're finally going to start to get good quarterback play that you have been so desperately trying to see. He's coached guys like Joe Milton, Brock Purdy, Byron Brown right now at USF had 3,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards. So he knows how to make his quarterbacks score points. It's just, can that translate to the SEC? We don't know. But considering the type of guy he is, I believe it can.
Look, if we can get a quarterback who can throw the football, I'll be very happy.
Maybe it's Deuce Knight, and if he stays, and Goelsh can just develop him, we'll see.
I know he didn't. I know he had limited time, this season when he got in, but we saw some good flashes.
It was against Mercer, but he probably looked the best out of
We saw some good flashes.
Mercer team, by the way, that has a chance to win the FCS this year. And we'll talk about the FCS in Boulmus in a couple weeks. But, yeah, I think we can be excited about Goelsh. It seems like he's a younger guy, and it's somebody that actually can build a program instead of try to revive a program, which is what Auburn's been trying to do since they fired Brian Harsin.
Honestly, since we fired Gus.
Yeah, since Gus. And then Harsin was kind of that archetype. It was just not right at all.
Yeah, that was a rough time. Harsin and Freeze have been brutal.
It's been a rough 5 years now, I think it's been, since Gus.
It's been brutal.
So what? Let's put a letter grade on it for Goelsh. I give it an A, not an A+. Maybe more A-, just because the way they went about it, thinking it was almost DJ Durkin for that long, really gave me a heart attack.
I'm happy that he's being retained as the defensive coordinator. Him paired with Goelsh, I think that's going to be a defensive and an offensive mind, respectfully. That's going to be really good for this program. I'll give it an A-. What up, Cat? I'll give it an A- simply because I feel like there wasn't an A+ candidate out there. And if I was going to give them an A, it would have been John Summerall.
Well, there was, but he went to LSU.
A- candidate. I'm not even joking. I would rather have John Summerall than Lane Kiffin.
Really?
Not that would be detrimental to our program, but it's just like a guy I don't really root for. And it's almost like when, I can't really put it this way because I'm not a fan, but like when LSU hired the Irish guy, Brian Kelly. When they just hired Brian Kelly, I was like, wow, I would hate to be an LSU fan because I just hate the guy. Oh, it's like when the Jags hired he who shall not be named. I hated that guy before he ever stepped foot in Jacksonville. For real. And then he became our head coach, and I knew we were screwed. Bringing in Tebow and shit.
Yeah, the difference is Kiffin's going to be successful because he's been successful everywhere.
Yeah, he will be. He will be. I'm just saying he's not a guy I would root for, so that's why he's not an A+ candidate for me. John Summerall, again, I'll say it one more time. Last time I'll say it, was the guy I wanted. I like his vibe, but Goelsh was a guy that was a little bit under the radar for me. So maybe if I had done a little bit more research on him leading up to this hiring, then I would be a little bit more excited, him versus Summerall. But look, I keep saying this like I'm displeased. I'm happy. I have a lot of faith in the direction of this program right now.
I do too, and I think that's the important thing to remember. And for all the Auburn people watching this, it seems like this is a good move for the future of their program. And being able to retain DJ Durkin, you'll probably be able to keep a lot of the defensive side of the ball. I'm not sure. Cam Coleman may be gone, which would be very sad because his last play as an Auburn Tiger would be fumbling in the Iron Bowl. But it might be an offensive rebuild, but that's okay because these guys haven't exactly experienced winning. So you might want to start a new kind of culture down there.
Yeah, that's very well said.
Well, we talked about Summerall. He goes to Florida, gets the biggest reception of all time walking on their campus. Kind of felt bad for him and his family there. But he got ridiculous. The bag.
Yeah. Like I feel like that just speaks volumes to Florida as a program and why I feel like this isn't going to work out. And I'm not saying, just because of the reception of the guy showing up to town, it's not going to work out. But he would have done better elsewhere. I have zero faith in the Florida program to begin with. I feel like they lose way more recruits than they should. They just have not come back to the glory days. Maybe Summerall can bring them back, but man, he would have been so much better off somewhere else.
Florida is they're in a weird position right now because it feels like everyone around that program and all the fans think they're still that powerhouse that Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer made them, but they really haven't been in a long time. So they kind of just need that check where the reality check of it's time to rebuild this thing. I think Summerall can do that. We've seen him do it with Troy, and we saw him do it with Tulane. 4 straight conference championship games. And he's not going to go to the SEC championship next year. Might have to make a tomato bet on that too. At least Matt's not here to make that bet with me. But I like this move for them. I would have liked him at Auburn too, but the more I look at the two, I kind of like Goelsh better.
Well, you got it at this point.
Yeah.
I still can't believe you said his name, the guy that I don't like talking about, but my ears were graced. Thank you, Brian.
Sorry. I wasn't scared to say Voldemort as a kid. I'm not going to be scared to say Urban Meyer in front of you.
That's enough out of you twice now.
All right.
No, I'm excited for Auburn, and I think that we're going to have more success than Summerall in Florida.
I do too. A couple other housekeeping before we get into the actual college football playoff, because of course they have to have the schedule, which we talked about on the last podcast, where the coaching search happens right before the actual games. Penn State still don't have a coach. They are ranked 132nd in the composite rankings for recruiting after the first signing day.
Bro, they're probably looking for like some local Lehigh Valley high school coach to come out of the woodworks and shock the world. We're talking Penn State football, man. Yeah, they got a lot of fans. They get a lot of hype. They get very excited, and they never produce. So, whatever.
Yeah, we did see a 4-star that was committed to Auburn at quarterback flip to Penn State, which makes me kind of think maybe there's a freeze warning coming to Happy Valley.
Well, wow, I didn't go that far. I think it was because with when Goelsh came over, he flipped a 3-star our 3-star quarterback our way. That I feel like is the guy that might be his guy. That might be the guy that we're seeing next year. You know, this always happens with head coaches. When they come in, they bring their guys in. It top down, players, assistant coaches. A lot of the time, they bring their guys in. And I'm, one of the reasons why I'm a fan of Goelsh already is because of the way that he received DJ Durkin and retaining him as the DC. That's a big move, A, and then B, just the way he went about it, being very, respectful. It was the right way to do it. It was the right way to say it. And again, very excited for the Auburn program. Feel like I'm just going in circles right now, Brian. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, it's hard not to be just say you're excited because that's what we're both feeling right now. It's an emotion we haven't felt about Auburn. I guess we kind of, after the Baylor win to open up the year, we got excited. But in the back of our heads, we still kind of knew there was that dark cloud of Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold for real?
That was the question for me. After that Baylor game, the dude ran for like 150 yards. I was like, okay, this guy can scamper. We can win games, but can you throw the ball? A question I've been asking Auburn football for a decade.
Yeah, it's I think things are going to change. I hope things are going to change, and it seems like you're headed the right direction. The last kind of coaching domino to fall, USF got a new coach already, Brian Hartline, former Miami Dolphin great. Makes me feel old. Remember him on some of my fantasy teams. But he was the coordinator at Ohio State. Seems like a lot of Penn State fans wanted him, and I kind of like the hire for USF.
Yeah, I mean, you always see a guy who played, especially like in the NFL, but just a guy who played, who knows the game, who's been there and done that. They get received very well by their players. You know, he'll be able to get a couple extra recruits, especially, wide receivers, you'd think, that look at him and go, you played in the NFL, you know what it takes. Yes, I'll follow you into battle. And look, I'm always a big fan of when you can hire a former player to be your coach, and worked out for us with Cadillac Williams. Even though that was a short stint, players definitely rallied behind him.
Yeah, I'll never forget that A&M win. That'll be Cadillac's stamp on Auburn history, which is a pretty good one.
No doubt.
But yeah, that's pretty much the coaching search here. It'll be interesting to see who Penn State lands, and I'm sure we'll talk about that when the time comes. Might be a loser of the week coming up here. The way it's going.
From like Mount Olive, New York, or Mount Olive, New Jersey, or like freaking Saratoga Springs, New York. Like they're gonna pull like just some Kurt Signetti out of high school football or something.
We were in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. That Lehigh Lafayette game was looking pretty electric. Maybe they grab one of those coaches.
Look, those guys know how to show up. Fundamental football.
That's what they like up there in Happy Valley. What they don't like in Happy Valley, they will not be part of the college football playoff like Auburn. But a couple Big Ten teams will be, and it's going to be the 1 and 2 seed most likely. The two teams playing in the Big Ten championship.
That's the thing. They're playing in the Big Ten championship. Are they, let's just assume, given Ohio State's the 1 seed, they beat Indiana. Does Indiana drop out of the top 3? Or top 2, excuse me? I mean, I think they do. If Georgia can get a win against Bama and win the SEC, or Texas wins in the Big 12, and, that's 3 and 4 right now, respectively. And I think if Ohio State beats Indiana, even in a close game, they're going to drop out of the top 2.
Possibly. I don't know. That'd be the first loss for either of those teams. And I guess it really doesn't matter that much. It would probably just matter more in terms of possible matchups coming up.
Yeah.
Of where they would want to be seated. The important part is they're both kind of confirmed to get a bye. I can't see a world where either of any other team really jumps up past them. Even if Alabama beats Georgia, maybe that drops Georgia out of a bye, but Alabama's not getting a bye. But the rest of the rankings here, Ohio State and Indiana at 1-2. We have Georgia at 3, taking on Bama in the SEC championship. Tech at 4, Oregon at 5, Ole Miss at 6. Interesting, they moved up Ole Miss after Lane Kiffin left. A&M all the way down to 7, Oklahoma at 8. And then you kind of get into the bubble here with Bama at 9, Notre Dame at 10, BYU at 11. And it looks like Miami's not going to get in. They're at 12 with Texas and Vanderbilt behind them. So those teams are likely cooked. I think the big thing that the committee did with these rankings is they set it up with North Texas at 24, where the American champion will get in, and the only way JMU is going to get in here is if Duke beats Virginia. And then that would probably knock out. Well, no, wouldn't knock out anybody. The only way I think Notre Dame is the real bubble team here. If BYU beats Tech, Notre Dame's out. That's essentially what we're looking at.
I would have to agree. With BYU sitting at 11, they get a win over the 4th-ranked team in the country right now. It would definitely bump Notre Dame out. Well, because Notre Dame still isn't playing conference championships, which is one of the first college football beefs I've ever had. Join a conference, play in a conference. You're not too good for a conference. They don't play a conference championship. Usually that helps them. They get to sneak their way right on in without having to play a big game late in the season. But this year it might hurt them.
Yeah, I can't see a world where they stay in if BYU gets in, unless Bama gets trounced by Georgia and loses by like 50. But the committee said they're not gonna can't think of the word.
Fault.
Penalize. They're not going to penalize you for losing a conference championship game. But it would be Bama's 3rd loss. And we haven't really seen 3-loss teams get in here. So,
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I feel – am I really about to say this? Yeah, I feel bad for Texas.
I don't. They lost to Florida. You can't.
I know they lost. No,
they barely beat
I
Mississippi State. I get the thing. I kind of get Sarkisian's argument.
They've been looking better and better.
They have, but you still can't lose to. You can't lose 2 games you just are not supposed to. That's the thing with Miami too. They got trounced by 2 ACC teams that they shouldn't have. And the ACC is going to have to really look themselves in the mirror and change their tiebreaker if Duke wins this conference championship and they're left out of the playoff. It's a lot of weird developments this year. And it's one of those years where Notre Dame might be left out and Texas might be left out. 2 of the biggest brands in college football.
Yep. Yeah, look, you got to win games. I know all about Auburn being a 3-loss team and not getting into playoffs. So fair enough. I will say, obviously, Ohio State and Indiana look like the prime dogs, but Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, A&M, a lot of SEC teams in there. I already know first week of the playoff when the SEC goes like 2-3 or like 2-4, whatever, and everyone's like the SEC isn't that good. I'm gonna be raging on Twitter. I already know I'm gonna be raging on Twitter.
Yeah, the thing is, the SEC, I don't think they were that good this year. But at the same time, the rest of college football wasn't that good. So it could be just SEC making a run. It's going to be hard with Ohio State and Indiana there. But, I mean, you just look at the first-round matchups that are possible. You're going to have Ole Miss against either Virginia, likely, or the American champion. And then you'll have A&M taking on possibly BYU, JMU, or or maybe Notre Dame. Like, there's going to be a path for SEC to make some good headway in this playoff.
I got a dog under my feet. She's looking. You gotta chill.
The dog is the SEC right now, licking its chops, looking at this possible bracket. I mean, we could see an all-SEC Final Four the way it's looking.
Let's go through the conference championships and try and shed a little light here. We got JMU as 23.5-point favorites versus Troy. They win that game. They still don't get in, though, do they?
I don't think so. Yeah, there's really no path for the American because even if there's a blowout in the American Championship, that team's going to get in. Like if North Texas blows out Tulane, they're still ranked 24, so they will get in over JMU. JMU's only path is getting Duke to beat UVA.
Why would that clear their path?
Duke's not ranked in the final ranking here, so I don't think Duke's going to get in over JMU. They rank JMU 25 for a reason.
Oh, you're saying that Virginia, if they can go out and win the ACC championship, they're getting in?
They'll get in. They're ranked 17 right now, so they're ahead of American and the JMU right now.
Okay. All right. Well, then moving on, North Texas and Tulane. That's also hinging on Virginia.
I think the winner of that is definitely going to get it.
What about if Virginia also wins the ACC?
So it'll be Virginia and then the American champion. So either North Texas or Tulane.
So we're getting 2 out of these 3.
2 out of the 3.
Okay. And your money's on Virginia and North Texas.
Only because Summerall left. I like Tulane a lot better than I like North Texas, but without Summerall, it's going to be hard to rally.
Well, didn't North Texas lose their coach too?
I don't think so. He's been in talks about leaving.
I know he's been a pride.
Okay, yeah. West Virginia did hire Eric Morris, so
West Virginia.
That's going to be an interesting game with 2 interim head coaches going out for a bid. Which also, like, why not rank JMU ahead of North Texas if they don't have their head coach? Come on.
Well, they lost their head coach last year.
But, like, I want to see JMU get in.
I know. Shout out the Dukes. All right. BYU, Texas Tech. That spread is 12.5. Obviously, you expect Tech to win it. I expect Tech to win it. Are you going to bet the 12.5?
For Tech with the points?
Yeah, which way you're going to bet it?
Tech. We saw this game already. We're on Tech to win it all. I'm on Tech. Not that I don't want to see chaos, but if they lose this game, they're going to lose a bye, and that would make their path a whole lot harder.
Of course. Yeah, you don't want to have to play an extra game if you don't have to. UGA and Bama at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, UGA's backyard. Do they beat Bama in the SEC championship?
They do. I just hope both teams have a terrible time.
Yeah. Nuclear missile incoming. Ohio State and Indiana, obviously the game of the weekend, the best Big Ten championship we've probably ever had.
There always seem to be good. I think I'd agree just because in the past
1-2.
we've had a lot of like Wisconsin, Iowa getting in with the two divisions, and now that the divisions are gone, we actually get the two best teams. See, I don't know the whole history, but sure, I'll give that to you.
I mean, unless we've gotten like a Michigan and Ohio State 1 and 2 in the past, I would
I don't
find
think
it
that was
hard to
possible.
believe there was a 1-2, both in the Big Ten, fighting for the number 1 overall seed. I'm excited for this game. Who you got?
I have Ohio State. I think they're the clear best team. But I also, like you say, it's the game of the week. It definitely is. Like on paper and just in terms of everything it is, it's 1 versus 2. But at the same time slot, you have the ACC championship where there's just a lot more chaos involved. So I think I
Yes.
might be putting more of my eyeballs on that game.
There's definitely more on the line for that game, but you can't sit here and tell me you'd rather watch that style of football than what Indiana and Ohio State are going to give us.
No and yes. If we're talking about like NFL wildcard weekend, I'm going to watch the better game. But college football, where I'm rooting for pure chaos, and I have I have an idea for a new playoff that I'll get into after this. But
Okay.
I'm rooting for the chaos, and I want to watch the chaos. Virginia's a fun team to watch. I haven't watched much of Duke because they're bad, but
So your final prediction, given everything you've told me so far, Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech, they're staying as the 4. A&M will stay in. Ole Miss will stay in. Oklahoma's staying in. Oregon staying in. Does Bama stay in?
yeah, unfortunately, I think they do.
Does Notre Dame stay in?
Unfortunately, yes.
Who are the last 2 teams?
As much as I want to see chaos, I don't think we see it. I do think Tulane has enough to get by North Texas. So it's going to be Virginia, and it's going to be North Texas. I do think Duke's going to give Virginia plays a lot of overtime games, a lot of close games. I could definitely see this come down to the wire. They're showing JMU's locker room on the broadcast, watching Duke drive down the field, trying to go for a game-winning touchdown to get them into the playoff against and then they throw a pick on like the 20-yard line, and Virginia's players go wild, and they cut to the JMU locker room, and all the players are just hands in their faces, surrender Cobra. It's going to be a rough night for JMU, I think.
So Virginia gets the 11 seed or the 12 seed? They got the 11.
So if that happens, I do think there's a World War II Lane beats North Texas by like 2 scores, and Virginia barely gets by Duke, and the committee just decides to say F it and put the American champion Tulane at 11 and Virginia at 12.
Okay. Not that would have a big difference, but
both teams would get absolutely demolished in the first round.
Yes, as it's currently projected, they'd get demolished by Ole Miss and Oregon. So,
yeah, the way I see this final bracket shaking out, we're going to get Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Tech. It'll stay the same at the top 4. No, I'll put Georgia at 2. Indiana will drop to 3. They're not going to move Tech ahead of Indiana.
Yeah.
5 will stay Oregon. 6, sure, will stay Ole Miss there. Maybe Alabama puts up enough of a fight where they jump over Oklahoma and get to host that game because the ESPN and the committee loves Alabama. But there's not going to be much movement.
I like it.
But no, you can't put a 3-loss team with a home game. So maybe Notre Dame ends up playing Oklahoma, and you get Alabama against a A&M. I don't know if they wanted to go SEC. Well, they already have SEC, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, as it currently stands, it's Bama, Oklahoma, but I don't know if there's a big difference between Bama, Oklahoma, and Bama A&M.
I think if you're A&M, you'd rather play Oklahoma.
Why?
I do think Bama is better than Oklahoma is. Jordan Mateer has not looked very good since he had that injury.
I thought it was John Mateer.
John Mateer, yeah, it's hard to keep up with.
Is it? I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's John
Mateer.
Mateer.
Guess. Yeah, that Sooners defense is pretty freaking good, but then again, it's Bama. So I think I'd rather see Oklahoma because it's Oklahoma and not Bama. Simple as that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I do have a way because we're still getting ACC fans are mad. People are still mad about the college football playoff. Vanderbilt might burn down Nashville. I have an idea. And this came to me a couple weeks ago, and I've been workshopping it. I think I finally have figured out the perfect way to make the college football playoff so everybody's happy.
Lay it on us.
All right. So you move it to 8 teams. Just 8. You don't need 12. More than 4, but you only have 8. You have the Power 4.
You're already out. You don't decrease. They won't take away.
We're not taking away spots here. Just let me talk.
All right.
We're getting rid of conference championships. Conferences are already coast to coast. They don't matter anymore. The regular season will still matter, but conference championships are gone.
Regular season championships, is that what we're giving out now?
Yep. So how we're going to do this is you have your Power 4 regular season champions getting the 4 byes. And those are your top 4 seeds in this 8-team college football playoff.
So in Indiana at number 2 gets screwed.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
And in terms of if you want to do that I'm not sure exactly who the best win is here because they're both undefeated, but your tiebreaker for regular season champion, since you're not doing a conference championship, would be the best ranked win. So if your current college football playoff rankings in the last week of the season, if you have a tie, the team with the better win against the team in those rankings gets the regular season championship.
Okay. I don't hate that.
Instead of a conference championship weekend, we're doing the next 6 highest ranked teams play games against each other. So 3 games, 6 teams, next 3 highest ranked spots. That's instead of conference championship. Doesn't matter what conference. It's just the 6 highest ranked teams. They're playing for 3 spots. And those 3 spots are locked into this 8-team playoff.
I'm with you.
Your 4th game during that no conference championship weekend is a playoff game between the 2 highest ranked group of 5 teams. And that's your 8 seed. So we no longer have the JMU versus American championship debate. It would be JMU against, I guess, Tulane. And that's your group of 5. Your 8 seed in the playoff.
Wow. And you go off of your best win.
For the tiebreaker.
As tiebreaker.
Yep.
I don't hate it. But you're telling me Indiana would have to play one of those elimination games. They don't get an automatic bid to the playoff.
Yeah, but if they're truly one of the best teams in the country, they're going to win that. It makes conferences matter again. It makes teams stay in their conference because you're not going to see people flock everywhere. Because, I'm in an easy ACC. I'm not going to leave that because I have a chance to make the playoff, and I'm not going to get screwed out of a playoff. It makes group of 5s matter. It makes scheduling good teams matter. Because if you want to go ahead and schedule number 1 preseason ranked Ohio State, if we win that game, we're going to have a tiebreaker at the end of the season to get in. So it makes the sport better, and it makes a lot less room for this debate over, we're the 11th best team in the country. We have 2 losses, and they're not great losses, but we should still get in. Like, no. You got to schedule hard games. You got to win those hard games. And
with how much turnover we've had over the past few, honestly, since they went away with the BCS national championship and came in with the college football playoff over 10 years now. I think that was 2014 was the first year, 2013 maybe. There has been so much turnover and change to what we're doing system-wise that I'd honestly be fine with a new system every year for like 5 years, and then everyone's like, all right, what do we like the best? What we got to pick one now. We're not changing it again. Like, just figure it out, man. It's I like your idea. I kind of like what we have now. honestly, my biggest beef with it is Notre Dame's still not in the conference and doesn't play a conference championship. So whatever.
It would be harder for them to make it in this 8-team playoff. I just think this takes out as much human error as possible while still giving the committee room to put teams in that a computer may say don't deserve it, which is what they were going for originally.
Yeah. Well, I'm with it.
Well, maybe if anybody in that committee is watching, you'll go ahead and take up my idea. I will take a royalty. Not sure what that royalty will be. Maybe I'll have to talk to Shark Tank and get Kevin O'Leary's input, but I need a royalty if you switch to that.
They'll give you a ticket to the national championship. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, maybe I'll take it. I don't know if I want it after Mercedes-Benz Stadium gets nuked this weekend.
Will be a hot site.
All right, let's get into some Michael of the Week here. Haven't done it in a while. I always miss our Michaels of the Week.
Yeah, I'm really good at missing them, but somehow, some way, I caught this one. So let's get into it.
I might as well go right to you. What do you got?
Yeah, Michael of the Week for me is going to be Chris Paul. I mean, what the heck? This is a guy who is a vet, is obviously towards the end of his career, if not now officially done, but he was just released, I guess is the best way to say it. He was just released by the Clippers. They released a statement saying that they were cutting ties with him. Just weird, right? I mean, we're what, 20 games into the season?
Yeah, I mean he's been on the edge of retirement for a while. And I thought his spot in San Antonio with Wembanyama was nice, playing 15 minutes off the bench, kind of mentoring the young point guards there. The Clippers fit was always a little strange, but Steve Ballmer just likes to sign these veterans.
Yeah, and I mean he's got history there, right? Like, you know, the DeAndre Ayton, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin. You know that
AJ Redick.
What was it? Dunk City they were called.
Yeah, Dunk City, and then FGCU took that over. That was a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, Lob City. Excuse me.
Lob City.
Lob
Yeah, FGCU was Dunk
Oh
City.
my gosh. I mean, that just goes to show how long he's been in the league. You don't see DeAndre Jordan. Actually, we saw DeAndre Jordan have a much longer career than I expected. And Blake Griffin,
still be kicking around.
We don't see Blake Griffin out there anymore, that's for sure. But no, I mean, shout out to Chris Paul for having a good career. I'll just be blunt and honest, I've never been a fan. I feel like he's been a little petty to the media and you know, be it what you will. Maybe I only see the bad viral things, but never been a big fan. But I can respect the career he's had. This is just weird to me that he's getting cut in the middle of the season. Like, why not just keep him on the bench, let him retire at the end of the year? Like, unless he's going to try and sign somewhere else, you know, an Adam Thielen deal.
That was crazy, by the way. Thielen to Pittsburgh after some fan tweeted Tom was the type of guy to sign a 2018 Pro Bowler after a press conference where he called out the team. But yeah,
So
maybe that's
funny.
what it is. Chris Paul just wants to try to go somewhere where he can play minutes. Maybe he goes to the Sixers and reconnects with Paul George over there.
Yikes.
He was the perfect kind of – he wasn't really – corny's not the right word, but he's the perfect head of the Players Association where he would always kind of protect them, and that's why he came off like the way he did.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. He just always seemed a little – what's the word, man? I don't even have the word for it. It's like it's not arrogant. It's not hostile. It's just like he ain't got time for your shit.
I mean, maybe he created his own adjective, and we'll find another player, and we'll just have to call him Chris Polish in 10 years when we're talking about him.
Polish. There you go. That's the word.
Yeah. Shout out Chris Paul, though. Point guard. It's a good career, but it's time to hang up the boots. Also, DeAndre Jordan's still on the Nuggets. Not Nuggets, on the Pelicans.
That's insane.
Yeah. All right. My Michael of the Week. Well, I actually have two. Same kind of deal, though. So Spotify Rap came out today, and it's still wrong, I believe. I listened to a lot of MF Doom and a lot of Quali this year. Quali, and neither of those artists were in my top 5 or any of their songs. So you got a bone to pick with them. I also learned you're an Apple Music guy, so you did not get a Spotify Wrapped.
Correct. And I don't want to go into this any more than I already have today. I'm well aware that the Spotify Wraps came out. I was at work and they were discussing it. Like, it's almost like, this was the most important thing for 15 minutes, not everything else that we were doing that day. But
I mean, there's Reddit communities dedicated to figuring out what day Spotify Wrapped comes out.
that's just insane. I mean, like, I digress, but at the same time, when people were looking at me like, "Oh, Jack, what was your Spotify Wrap?" Like, I'm like, I'm an Apple Music guy. I literally had one coworker tell me that I was a serial killer simply because I have Apple Music and not Spotify and getting Spotify Wrapped. I mean, I'll get an Apple Music Wrapped or whatever the heck they call it at the end of the
I
year.
think it's
But
a rewind.
Apple Music Rewind. Look, this is how much I don't care about this, but apparently that makes me a serial killer. So shout out Marissa, my lovely coworker, also from New Jersey. Thanks for calling me a serial killer.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go that far to call you a serial killer for having Apple Music.
It was all in good fun, I will say.
Yeah, it's still very, I think it's more like 60-40 than people realize in terms of Spotify, Apple Music users. I think the world kind of thinks it's 80% of people use Spotify. It's just not
Well,
the
it's
case.
just because all of you Spotify people are so freaking loud about it. Like, just listen to your music and go about your day. We don't need to see you like publish what you're listening to on your Instagram stories. Like, move on.
See, most of the time I don't enjoy that, but there are occasions where I'll see like a song and be like, oh, that's kind of a good song, and I'll get a song from somebody's Instagram story, but that's very rare.
It's like if I see you posting like Taylor Swift or like a Zach Bryan song up there, I'm like, yeah, I've heard this one before.
Yeah,
You're not doing me any justice. You want to pull something out of the woodworks and give me a banger from Brazil, for lack of better ideas. Fuck it, I'm down. Send it through.
I definitely agree with that sentiment. Also, there is a podcast part of Spotify Wrapped. So for all of you that have the Views from Section 400 podcast in your top 5, please post those and we will repost them. We'd love to see those. Maybe not so much Taylor Swift songs, but the Views from Section 400 in your top 5 podcast, definitely.
Definitely. I would love to see who our true fans are. Let us know.
I got called a 76-year-old by Spotify today. So I want to see if that's an outlier or if I just got called an unk by the executives over at Spotify.
You listen to a lot of yacht rock or what?
Well, my top songs were Do, the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
What Is and What Should Be, Led Zeppelin, No Rain, Blind Melon, Blue Sky, Allman Brothers, and All My Love, Led Zeppelin. Which also doesn't make sense.
Blue Sky, that's more my speed than the other ones.
It's a great song. I also had Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, and Rolling Stones in my top 5 artists, which makes sense because they all made appearances on my top 5 songs list. Then I had Kanye and Kendrick Lamar, which fair. I always have Kanye in there. And Kendrick Lamar did the Super Bowl this year, so I'm sure there's like 3 months where I just going crazy on his music. Didn't appear in my top songs. How does that happen, Spotify? And then I had 2 Olivia Rodrigo albums in my top 5 albums. And I like Olivia Rodrigo, but I definitely did not listen to her that much. Not enough to where she was in any of my top songs. So I don't know what's going on with Spotify Wrapped, but fix it.
I mean, maybe I was listening to some horror stories. Allegedly, they were horror stories in the office today where I had some coworkers saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's been using my account. Like, she completely ruined my Spotify Wrapped. I'm like, whatever. So maybe you got Rose using your Spotify account, listening to music, skewing it. Maybe your mom's logged in. Maybe your dad. You never know.
See, that's the other thing. We go on a lot of road trips, and I put on music for Rose a lot of times, so it's always a little bit. Although I am a bigger Olivia Rodrigo fan than she is, I will admit that. She's more country. She likes a lot of country stuff.
Hell yeah. Yeehaw.
So my top rap song of the year was 10 Crack Commandments, which I had to laugh at.
Wow. that on top of all of the other Led Zeppelins and Rolling Stones and Allman Brothers band, that's an interesting one.
It was going like 30 plays, 30 plays, 30 plays, and then 17 plays. First rap song I saw, 10 Crack Commandments. I don't think I like that song that much, but I guess I went through a little phase there.
There you go.
All right, let's do some NFL picks. All righty, another week of NFL confidence picks. If you're watching on the YouTube, you can see our week 13. A lot of red. It was a wild week 13, as we said in the last show. Jack, you're right on my tail.
Yeah, this is a little disappointing. I can't lie. Really thought this was going to be a week where I made up some ground, put some effort into it. There's always this next week, putting more effort into it. But look, I got to be happy. I'm sitting there with a 71% pick rate. Pretty good if I just bet every money line there is. I think I'd be making some money right now.
Yeah, probably. I would think so. You're in first place in the percentage still.
Yeah.
So you always have that to hang your hat on.
Definitely.
So in total right now, I am at 1,006 points, only a 59% hit rate. Matt's at 1,133, and Jack, you're at 992. Probably going to pass me soon the way this is going. It might happen this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm definitely expecting to pass you. I want to keep that hit rate above 70%. That'll be my goal on the season.
Only a couple weeks left. Well, a few. We have 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So a lot of time left. Maybe
I get up to 75.
Maybe I can go perfect one week and make this somewhat of a contest for first place.
Maybe.
Well, because you have the highest percentage and Matt's not here this week, I will let you go first for once.
Oh, baby. Cue the music.
Young Purple Cali.
Here we go. At 14, my most confident pick. I'm going with the Rams over the Cardinals. It's a get right, get back spot after that tough loss to the Panthers. Those games happen, but the Rams are the best team in the NFL, and they'll come back this week. Then I'm going to take the Bucs over the Saints, another NFC matchup. Taking the Seahawks over the Falcons, the Broncos over the Raiders, the Browns over the Titans. Shadur's going to have himself a day. Ravens over the Steelers, Miami over the Jets, taking the Jags over the Colts, the Packers over the Bears, the Eagles over the Chargers, the Bills over the Bengals, the Chiefs over the Texans. Yes, the Chiefs are beating the Texans. The Jags are beating the Colts. We will have sole first place with a little bit of wiggle room to work with. The Cowboys are beating the Lions, and then I'll take the Commies over the Vikings, simply because I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Vikings, and I don't have faith in them either way.
Yeah, I like the Commanders pick there. I'm kind of – well, you'll see who I picked in that game, but I had no idea who to pick. I agree with you a lot on the Chiefs. It's now or never. They kind of have to win out. And we talked about the Mahomes stat.
They absolutely have to win out.
And, yeah, I agree with you on a lot of these. Eagles-Chargers is it's another game I just don't know. We don't know what's happening to Justin Herbert. I really hope Herbert decides to just take a week off for the sake of my Eagles defense and fantasy. But, yeah, it's some weird games, some good games on this slate.
Yeah, well, look, if you're the Eagles, you're going from a Bears team who ran all over you, 250-plus yards, was moving your big defensive linemen. They're not going to let that happen this week. And it's not going to happen this week, especially with, I've said it before, but with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater out for this Chargers offensive line, they are in a bad spot. It's why Justin Herbert is hurt right now. Whether he plays or not, I really don't think affects this game. I think the biggest thing that would affect this is Omarion Hampton coming back and just being electric. But I don't really expect that after him being on the IR for like the past 6 to 8 weeks, however long it's been. So I have a lot of faith in Philly to get this done, regardless of the offensive struggles. I don't think the Chargers offense is going to be able to do much.
I mean, even if it is Herbert in there, definitely if it's Trey Lance in there, we might get a flashback to the 1950s in this game with Harbaugh just running the ball 20 times with Hampton, 20 times with Vidal, maybe 20 times with Trey Lance.
I was going to say, it might be a better game plan to go with Lance and try and run the ball like crazy. You saw it work against Philly last week. I really don't think that the Chargers have the personnel up front to do that, but let's see it. Let's see it happen.
It worked with Malik Willis in Green Bay last year, so maybe they can get a little bit of that going for them.
That's a good pull.
I am also going with the Rams of the Cardinals for my top choice. I have the Browns over the Titans at 13. Cam Ward might poop himself about 5 times going against Myles Garrett in that Browns front. Seahawks over the Falcons at 12. Seattle, second highest odds to win the Super Bowl. They're licking their chops, looking at Kirk Cousins. Can't move on the other side. Bucks over the Saints, need that game to stay alive in the race for the NFC South. I have the Lions over the Cowboys. It feels like a game where the Lions will be in the playoffs, the Cowboys won't be in the playoffs. I'm taking this as kind of the line in the sand. Enough the Cowboys. Lions got to get it going. The Ravens over the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers just needs to be like Chris Paul and get cut. Chiefs over the Texans. I have the Packers over the Bears. Jordan Love, it's Toyota-thon. It's time for the Packers to turn it on. Broncos over the Raiders. Eagles over the Chargers. That's definitely not because of my fantasy implications to win to get in. Jets over the Dolphins. I have the Bengals upsetting the Bills to keep the Bengals alive. Purely a heart pick there. Jags over the Colts. I'm rooting for your Jaguars. And I have the Vikings over the Commanders. It just feels like a game where the Vikings, no one expects them to win, so why would they not go out there and win after the Commanders had a very emotional near win on Sunday Night Football?
I mean, yeah, no one expects the Commanders to win either. Those are 2 teams that are fighting for first overall pick in the draft next year. I mean, just not worth it.
I guess it would help having the Commanders win that game. So maybe
I will say one of the big differences that we have, and I know Matt has the Lions as well. You guys are backing the Lions over the Cowboys here.
It feels like a spot where I just can't see the Lions. I can't see a 2025 postseason without the Chiefs and the Lions. And I feel like at this point the Chiefs are almost dead. The Lions still have a little bit of hope. So I got to take the Lions to win.
I mean, look, the Lions and the Cowboys are in very similar positions, both on the brink, doing their best to stay afloat and get into the playoffs. They both need this game very badly, and just based on the trend, I'm going with Dallas.
I like it.
They're trending up. And meanwhile, the Lions are trending down, and it does not help that they'll be without Amon-Ra St. Brown in this game.
See, this may be me overthinking it, but I think that might help them a little bit, just because it could open up the playbook. They're very successful when they have Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both in the game, and I want to see Jahmyr Gibbs as a receiver a lot in this game. Maybe take more deep shots, Jameson Williams, get Isaac Tesla involved. I don't know. It feels like a spot where Campbell can really get creative and open up the playbook, and that's what the Lions need to do. This looks stale.
I agree, but at the same time, they're going against one of the most potent offenses in the NFL. If that trickery or whatever you're saying, opening up the offense and trying some new things, if they don't work out, they might not keep up in the points.
Just give us a fun game on Thursday Night Football. It's been a few weeks since we've had a really fun one. And Thanksgiving doesn't count because there's 3 games.
Sure.
All right, I'll go through Matt's real quick here. He's got the Rams over the Cardinals, the Broncos over the Raiders, Bucks over the Saints, Browns over the Titans. He put ugly in parentheses, so I think he wanted us to announce that game was ugly, like no one knows that game is ugly. Seahawks over the Falcons, Eagles over the Chargers, Lions over the Cowboys. He's got Bill over the Bengals. So not only the Buffalo Bills, but also Bill Krosky-Merritt will defeat the
Buffalo
Bengals.
Bill.
Or Buffalo Bill. Everyone named Bill. Shout out Aaron Taylor. Ravens over the Steelers. Chiefs over the Texans. Packers over the Bears. He's got the Dolphins over the Jets. The Vikings over the Commanders. And he's got Danny Dimes taking down the Jaguars. Danny Dimes with 3 exclamation points.
Not getting into it. We're going to snap that man's fibula.
Jeez Louise. Going straight for violence. Are Armstead and Trayvon Walker back?
Jaguars defense is a violent bunch, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Are those guys back this week?
I don't know if they're back this week. I know they were both out last week. I know it didn't really hurt us playing a Tennessee Titans team, but I'll let you know. You know what? Why don't I check the practice report? I don't know if they practiced today.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I want to see if the Colts have a new kicker because they cut Marvin Bagley.
They did. I saw that. That is another reason why I think the Jaguars are winning.
Oh, I mean, it might be good for them. He was missing extra points. So
Well, yeah. I mean, you definitely need a place kicker in this league, one that you can trust. Yeah, the old Saints kicker. That's right.
So he will be kicking now.
Let's see. Trayvon Walker did not practice. Eric Armstead limited practice. We had a couple DMPs. Parker Washington did not practice. Walker Little DMP with a concussion. Trayvon Walker still with the knee, and then we also had Dewey, our safety, Andrew Wingard. He has a concussion and did not practice today.
Well, at least it's not Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Eric Murray was a full participant in practice. That's good to see. We'll have him and Antonio Johnson out there if Andrew Wingard can't go. Trayvon Walker always hurts to not have him. I'm totally fine with Walker Little being out of this freaking game. Like, we have enough offensive linemen that can pick up the slack. And then Parker Washington, just an absolute dog. Probably the best punt returner in the NFL right now. Don't know if the stats will show it, but I wouldn't rather have
it down there in Tennessee.
Yeah, actually, the rookie DK, yeah, he's been pretty good. Parker Washington's better, though.
AFC South is punt returner you, I guess.
Not you, but punt returner central, maybe.
Punt returner South.
Sure.
All right, well, that's the show today. Always weird when it's just the two of us and not three here, but it's always fun.
It's always fun. Look, I'm getting ready for an Auburn basketball game that apparently has already started, but
yeah, facing off against the fighting Will Wades.
I'm waiting for Arkansas to finish wrapping up this bow on a win over Louisville, 6th-ranked Louisville. Arkansas at 25, going to take them down.
Big win for the SEC in the ACC Challenge. Hopefully Auburn can keep it going.
Definitely. Big night for us after the ACC had their way last night.
Yeah. Well, UNC did pull it out against Kentucky. That was a rough loss.
UNC beat Kentucky, and what's that guy's name? Had the Daryl Dixon or something like that. Derek Dixon had like 5 points in the last minute for UNC. Great game last night. And also, Florida Duke early in the season like this. Love to see it. That was a phenomenal game as well.
Should have been Auburn again. I want my revenge.
Yeah, sure. But look, Florida's Florida. They're the reigning champs. We can give them that.
We'll see Duke again in the tournament. Hopefully in the Final Four.
Yeah, let's go out there and beat NC State tonight.
Let's do it.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.